All right, people, it's day 2 of NFL free agency, and it's been pretty quiet for the Bears on their front. So I'm going to talk about some of the guys that they could potentially still look to sign here because they are not done yet. So what is going on, y'all? Fast Force all back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, please do hit the big red subscribe button down below. I promise you won't regret it. Oh, and by the way, hit the bell icon, so you are in fact notified every time I drop a new video. All right, so day 2 has been pretty quiet. In fact, there have been no signings at the time I'm recording this for the Chicago Bears. And they're far from done, folks. We still have about $40 to $50 million left in cap space. There's still the entire defensive line to kind of fill up. You still have a couple positions on the offensive line you need to fill up. Right tackle, center potentially. Again, defensive end, defensive tackle. Like, we have openings. All right, it's not like we have a complete roster and boom, we're set. And they did make 4 signings yesterday, so it's not like they barely did anything. And I talked about that. But let's talk about day 2 and moving forward, what other signings can we expect? Well, who's out there? All right, here are a couple of guys out there, and I'm specifically focusing on guys in the trenches, O-line, D-line. All right, the number one guy that I'm looking at for the Bears from the offensive line perspective, offensive lineman Kaleb McGary. Kaleb McGary of the Atlanta Falcons is somebody who I've talked about before free agency started. He's a guy who's an absolute beast, a mauler, just 28 years old, can play on the right side at that tackle spot, which is a need for us. And yeah, man, this is a guy who's, to me, the best fit left for the Bears. We still have guys like Orlando Brown out there, who you could say are better than Kaleb McGary, but McGary is more of a fit for the Bears. Orlando Brown doesn't profile as a fit, but hey, he's still better than majority of the offensive linemen that we have. In fact, all of them probably. And so he would still be an upgrade. It's just schematically, is he a fit? So Kaleb McGary, definitely my number one option for the Bears on the offensive line. Orlando Brown, you can think about as well, just because, again, of the fact that he is still going to be the most talented guy out there, and it would be an upgrade. And then Isaac Seumalo from the Eagles. He's a guy that there was reports coming out that the Bears were interested in him, and I think talks were happening. So maybe those are still happening. But Seumalo would be great. He's a guard that can obviously come in and fit with us as well, whether or not left or right side of the line. Some questions there. We did sign Nate Davis, and then you got Tevin Jenkins. So we'll see here. But in the order that I listed here, Kaleb McGary is my number one target. Then I would go probably Orlando Brown and then Isaac Seumalo. All right, so that takes care of the offensive line. Those are the guys I'm looking to target. There could be other ones. We'll see. Defensive line, let's talk about it. My number one guy, Yannick Ngakoue of the Colts. Look, folks, he's just 27 years old still, even though it feels like he's been in the NFL forever. And it is a production-based business. I like Yannick Ngakoue because he just produces. That's all he does. 9.5 sacks last year. You need that type of production. Obviously, a clear fit, a clear need. And yeah, man, that is who I want. Yannick Ngakoue is still out there. If the Bears can get him, lock him up, that would be great. Besides him, got a couple other guys. Arden Key from the Jacksonville Jaguars. You got Sheldon Rankins. You got Charles Omenihu. These are some other guys. Again, Sheldon Rankins, defensive tackle. The other guys, defensive ends. And so when we take a look at them, they're below Ngakoue to me because, again, production here. Both Arden Key and Omenihu just had 4.5 sacks last year. And so obviously you want to have disruptors on the defensive line. And keep in mind here, we still have the entire draft left. And you got 10 draft picks. And so you still have plenty of ammo to fill up the defensive line. And I'm not saying you have to sign 3 starters or 4 starters. I'm just saying you still got to add in free agency and not depend completely on the draft. So for me, defensive line-wise, Yannick Ngakoue at the top. And then, Arden Key and Sheldon Rankins, Charles Omenihu kind of would fall in the same group, really, if you will. So, man, if we somehow landed McGary and Yannick Ngakoue, oof, that would be ideal. We'll see what happens here, man. But it could be, people that we're not familiar with, right? Like a couple of the signings that the Bears made yesterday. A lot of Bears fans were familiar with, from Marcus Walker from the Titans. Certainly Nate Davis isn't a guy that a lot of people have heard about either. So it could be under the radar signings. I'm just letting you know. But these are the guys I'm targeting. Again, Kaleb McGary, Orlando Brown, Isaac Seumalo, Yannick Ngakoue, Arden Key, Sheldon Rankins, Charles Manahue, some of the guys out there. So let me know what you guys think. Who are your top targets? Leave a comment down below as always. Thanks for watching.